Like this. Like this.
What's up, YouTube? This is Video Charger here to bring you a Bleach chapter review, update, and discussion, all that fun stuff. As we know, I've been gone for about 3 months, so obviously I missed a few chapters. So without further ado, after I read them all and I read the one that came out today, I'm here to discuss it. Now, I'm going to talk about them just in whole, not necessarily just this chapter, obviously. So to me, a few main things that happened. I'm not going to necessarily go in order, I'm just going to speak it. So to me, we finally found out that Masaki was a Quincy. Now, it's not necessarily a shocker because we all kind of guessed that even before I left, which was like 3 months ago. So it's not necessarily a shocker, but it adds to the story. You know, it makes sense why Ichigo has why he has Quincy powers. Now, to me, like I said, it's not the most shocking, but glad it's there. It put that info in. Now, the main point was, if you pay attention to the flashback, when Ichigo's father and mother got attacked by the Hollow, a pretty significant event happened. One, we see that it was a special Hollow, a different type of Hollow. It was a Hollow infused with like Shinigami power or something similar to that, made by Aizen, of course, because pretty much, as we all know, Aizen is pretty much god of freaking Bleach. He knows everything. So anywho, so it attack. It pretty much beat Ichigo's parents, but we see it attack Masaki and it does significant damage. And before I even go on, the Hollow itself, if you notice, which I noticed as soon as I seen the freaking picture, the Hollow is the same like Hollow or the same form of Hollow as Ichigo. When Ichigo goes like full berserk, hell crazy Hollow, that's the same Hollow that attacked his mom. And we see when it attacked his mom, and it did damage. A few days later, she started developing a hollow hole. And if you notice, that hollow didn't have a hollow hole. Where the hole was, it was like filled in with space, or not space, but whatever hollows are made of. So she starts developing a hole, and that's what we've seen like in these past few chapters. So and obviously that's going to get explained. But what I'm thinking is in these next few chapters, obviously that's going to get explained, because if I remember right, it's never necessarily explained how Ichigo had hollow powers. And to me, obviously that hollow that attacked his mom is, if may not be the same hollow that he is, but it's obviously of the same lineage because they looked exactly like it, minus the tail. So I'm thinking maybe just like how Masaki passed on her Quincy powers, is she passed on that hollow gene onto Ichigo, which is why Ichigo is pretty much everything in Bleach. Obviously, it's a Shinigami, Hollow, and Quincy. So I'm thinking we pretty much have the mom to thank for why Ichigo is pretty much as strong as he is. And another important thing is we see the Kenpachi's fight. Now, to me, the fight wasn't necessarily the most exciting fight ever in Bleach. It wasn't destructive or nothing that like you would expect from Zaraki, at least. It was pretty much a normal sword fight, which is weird for Bleach, or since they have powers, so they didn't really do nothing. They just slash, minus a few things. But to me, what I praise, I don't know if a lot of people caught this because I haven't really watched videos or on those chapters. But if you caught this fight wasn't meant to actually be that type of battle. It wasn't meant to be a power struggle or nothing like that. To me, it reminded me of Yu Yu Hakusho, the Demon World tournaments. Like the finals, if you remember the finals of Demon World, none of those fights were meant to be power struggles or show off abilities. They were meant to tell stories. And that's what this fight did. This fight was meant to tell a story of just Kenpachi and Kenpachi Zaraki. Because we seen in the flashback, we seen that even though Kenpachi back in the day was a kid, maybe like 10 years old, he was still so strong that he was stronger than Unohana. And as we all know, back in the day, the first captains of Soul Society were pretty much feared for their strength. And this little boy was stronger than Unohana. And this is the first Kenpachi. I mean, he technically lost the fight, but we found out that, as we all know, Kenpachi Zaraki loves to fight, so he unconsciously sealed his power away. And as we see during this current fight, as he's fighting with Unohana, we see that every time he goes unconscious, he gets stronger and stronger. So he's wondering, like, why is this happening? And that's what it's explaining. Unohana explains that because he loves to fight so much and he didn't want to kill her back when he was a kid, he unconsciously locked his power. So now that he's fighting, now every time he goes unconscious, he's unlocking his power. So what he did as a kid, he's doing it reverse. He's gaining his original power back. And that's really the whole point of the story. Just like when Hiei fought Mikuro, the fight wasn't just to have a fight. The point was Hiei was trying to take her shackles off. And it's pretty much the same exact thing that's happening now. Unohana was trying to take off Zaraki's shackles. And if you see the parallel, they both pretty much had shackles on because they wanted them on. And they each had a person to take them off. And I mean, that was pretty much the whole point of the fight. Like, the fight wasn't meant to be super cool or nothing. It was meant to tell the story of, why Zaraki is the way he is. And it was meant for Unohana to take off his shackles. As we all read, Zaraki killed her in the end, because there can only be one Kenpachi alive at a time. So he became the current and only Kenpachi alive. But more importantly, his shackles is off, literally. So he's at full power. And one more thing that I didn't expect to see, not anytime soon at least, was he's finally able to hear his Zanpakuto. So I don't know if it's necessarily mean Bankai mode, but if you just imagine, I mean, he was already insane. So he's a captain who don't know his sword name at all. So that's amazing right there. And he can fight Espada and all this other stuff. We all know how strong he is. So now that he's going to learn his actual, like, Zanpakuto name, imagine the power level. If you remember, at least before I left, I remember, like, Central 46 was beyond scared of Zaraki pretty much learning his Zanpakuto, because they figured if he wanted to revolt, there'd be nothing that could stop him. So now he's actually on the path to learning his Zanpakuto. So just imagine the power level he's going to be on. He's going to be on a whole nother power level. So that's pretty insane. To me, that was more or less the most important thing that happened. As we're seeing Ichigo, I think I kind of went out of order, but we're seeing Ichigo fail the test for his Zanpakuto training because Ichigo obviously is not a Shinigami. Now maybe I read it out of context or not, but obviously we all know Ichigo is a Hollow, Quincy, and Shinigami. So if he couldn't fix his Zanpakuto because he's not a Shinigami or a full Shinigami, whatever you want to call it, what does this mean for the future? He's still obviously destroying it over. Obviously Bleach is still continuing. So what is this going to mean for Tensei Zangetsu? I mean, even when he learns, because he's learning about his mom and all that stuff, even once he learns everything he needs to know, how is he going to fix it? I mean, and everybody knew he was going to fail anyway. Even Renji knew. So, what does this mean for his future? Obviously, he's not going to just rely on Quincy powers for the future. I mean, obviously, Quincy powers is enough because Yuha and his Vandal Rights destroying Soul Society. But, I mean, I can't imagine for 5 years now him using Shinigami powers, and now he's just going to use Quincy powers. I can't see that. Now, obviously, he probably may learn how to use Quincy powers more. But, I mean, what does this mean for his Shinigami side? Since it's pretty much filling him right now. So, that's pretty much my thoughts. It's a pretty short video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm a little rusty at the video making, but like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. This is Ryu Tachi signing out.